explode. We get a lot of questions online about what it takes to be a powerlifter at Diablo. So I want to run through some of our common questions that we receive, just as a preliminary sort of understanding for people before they even contact us.
Great.
The first one is, and people contact us and say, I have been powerlifting in the gym by myself for 10 years. I know all about it and I just want to start competing. So I want to join the team.
So the first thing how I'd respond to that is we don't require any current level or status as a lifter to apply or even to join. So if someone is only squatting 300 pounds, for example, we're not going to disqualify them based on their lift alone. Diablo's always been very much a grassroots gym to where we're building people from the bottom up. So my expectation is they're not going to come here knowing what to do. So if someone has been training in their gym alone for 10 years, or if they've been in a commercial gym or training with a group, none of that really matters to me. What matters the most on the initial pass is, are they willing to do what it takes, and are they open to learning the methods that we use? A lot of people think they have it figured out, and they come here and they tell me how great they are at powerlifting, and they squat like 500 or 600 pounds, and it's kind of mind-boggling to me that that's the response that we get. If someone comes in, they're squatting 1100, yeah, okay, let's talk about it. We're probably going to be speaking the same language at that point. But when someone has novice numbers and they come in with the wrong attitude, that's more of a red flag for me than if someone's been training solo for a long period of time. We know everyone who comes in is going to need a lot of work on technique and almost always a lot of work on their mindset.
So that leads me into the next one, which is, do I need a certain number to apply? And what I want to know from you is there a bottom number? Is there a number that's too little for somebody to become a powerlifter here?
You know, we've had people here literally not be able to squat the bar when they started. Some of those came from the rehab segment, but some people just came in where they were really physically deconditioned and just had nothing in their body that would demonstrate they even had the ability to get strong. And I could go over numerous examples, but just know that literally I've had people come in who you know, whether it was just from being super weak or had an injury, they weren't able to perform at any level.
You get a lot of people that say, you know, oh, I have an injury, or I'm too old for that, I'm too small for that. What are your thoughts as far as that relates to powerlifting?
Yeah, every problem has a solution, and we've solved all those problems. Too old, we've had Dan Varela, who holds the all-time greatest masters total at age 60. He made an 815 squat, a 600-pound bench, a 655 deadlifts. Those were his all-time best numbers. He had competed in his 20s decades before, and came here and went hundreds of pounds past his previous best numbers. I've had a 61-year-old woman squat 3 times body weight, deadlift 3 times body weight, win an open division national championship, and make an open class elite. I've had a 67-year-old man come in with a 335 bench, which was his all-time best, and go to 507. You know, so that covers, you know, kind of too small and too old right there. Too injured. For me, I have a background in exercise therapy, and that's one of the things we offer here, both through our joint business, Vitz Chiropractic, as well as my therapy that I perform with for people when they come through our rehab channel. We've had some of our high-level elites have started off, I can think of 4 or 5 right off the top of my head, who didn't come here to be lifters. They had no lifting background. They had no desire to be lifters. They came here to get better and get out of pain. And all of the rehab work that I do is strength-based. So as that starts to take hold a little bit and they start to get better and they start to create distance away from their problem, then all of a sudden they become interested in weight training as a modality. And then in some cases, one thing has led to another. Before you know it, you have another national champion or another open class elite.
So what's the biggest the most important thing for a powerlifter coming in here? What's the one thing that you look for that you think is most important?
People do not, generally speaking, people do not understand the concept of being all in or commitment. What is defined now, commonly defined as powerlifting, is a little bit confusing to me, coming from a little bit of a different era. And I'm not even that old. But I see people who just enter contest after contest and they have numbers that wouldn't be in the top 10 for our women. These are men I'm speaking about. But they kind of strut around like they're, placing on the podium at nationals or something. So there's this disconnect, I think, that has happened that I've noticed more and more over the last 10 years of doing this, from people willing to come in to do whatever it takes to get strong versus people coming in and getting their Instagram trophy every day by just posting their lift, and then all of a sudden they're in hashtag beast mode, and it makes it so they don't have to earn it in the gym because everyone's in hashtag beast mode on the internet, so everyone gets their daily trophy. The sport of powerlifting will challenge you in ways that are difficult to describe when someone comes in, they're new. Everyone thinks that they're all in. When I do an interview with people, oftentimes, and someone tells me I'm 100% all in, I can usually whittle that down to about what I'd consider a 5 or 10% commitment level by asking certain questions. I think Louis Simmons has said, if you're not willing to die for this sport, then you're probably doing the wrong thing. You're probably in the wrong sport. And that's really not far off the mark from what I look for. When someone comes in, I'll say it this way, when someone comes in to join our powerlifting team and they're not strong. So first off, what is strong? We define strong starting at 800 squat for the men, 600 bench, 700 pound deadlift. That's where we say someone has begun to get strong. For the women, you're probably looking at like a 400 pound squat, 400 pound deadlift, 250 bench is where they're starting to get strong by powerlifting standards. So when someone comes in and they've not walked any of that path, other than just doing some training and doing a hashtag beast mode, they don't understand the length of the journey from a coaching perspective this is going to take. So for them, it's easy to say, I'm 100% in, I'm going to come in, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. You ain't doing shit. What you're going to do is you're going to shut your mouth, you're going to listen to what I tell you to do, and you're going to do all of it, or you're not going to be here, and that's pretty simple. And most people have no idea how to handle themselves in that context. So it becomes a pretty quick rude awakening. So commitment generally is something that you learn over time, and you earn it over time. And you earn the mindset to go farther and farther, because it's something where until you know what it's like for your central nervous system to be crushed all the time, and then there's more and more expected of you, you've really not been tested in any way, shape, or form. So a lot of people, when they're new to this, it's always exciting. When it gets hard, it's really easy to quit. So commitment to me is continuing to do the things you said you were going to do long past the excitement wore off about doing it when it gets really, really difficult. So that's really the number one thing. If someone walks in our doors with desire, the roadmap already exists 100%. We've taken all kinds of people from nothing to elites and national titles and the whole bit. So there's no mystery there. If someone walks in and wants to get strong, I can get them stronger than they ever thought possible. That's just what it is. There's not a debate on that part. It's, can they handle it? Can they handle the training? Can they handle the rigors mentally to survive that process? And most people just don't have what it takes.